How is it going? I hope that you're all well. It's a little bit blurry, but that's okay. So I need a match to put my candle on. I had an incredible meditation yesterday, and I did some Vedic astrology. Well, I did a Vedic astrology reading for somebody in the UK. I am doing a tarot session today for somebody who's also in the UK at the moment, but she is a Vedic astrology reader as well. Have been having some conversations about Ophiuchus and where does Ophiuchus sit in astrology. So obviously there are two separate systems of astrology. Well, there's quite a few, but in regards to the traditional zodiac that we have, Libra and Virgo and Scorpio and whatever, we have Western Hellenistic and we have sidereal Vedic astrology. Now, interestingly, they both derive from I believe the Greeks and the Babylonians, and then that got introduced into India. Now, there was a point where those two systems were in alignment with each other. Now, as time has gone on and the universe has expanded and moved, and the Earth, moves, those that alignment has shifted and moved, which means that we are now somewhat we're quite a few degrees out in Western astrology. So where Western astrology says that the placements are of the zodiac, of the constellations, is not where it is. So if we say that the sun is going through Aries, it might in fact be going through Pisces. So there's a lot of shift in the astrological world. One of those things that has also come into play is, the discovery of Ophiuchus, which it's not a discovery, that it's been there, even back in the olden days. They were aware that it was there, the snake bearer that sits behind Scorpius and Sagittarius. So yeah, interestingly, I've been trying to work out where do I sit with that. Because if I'm doing any sort of reading for somebody, I want to make sure that I'm giving them accuracy and I'm giving them truth, There's also a piece and part of astrology, which is, we try to designate 30 degrees to each sign, whereas actually maybe it's not split as evenly and as accurately as we would like it to be to fit in those boxes. So that's also something, that needs a little bit of looking at. But in regards to Ophiuchus, because, this is what this video is about really, I would say that this is how I from all of the different data points that I've been looking at and other astrologers and people some people are including it in their reading, some people are not, some people are saying it is, it's a constellation, but it's not a zodiac. I think that it's very important, right? Because once again, if the sun is moving through that space and we're just ignoring it, that it's doing that, that's a problem, because then you're not Scorpio, you're not Sagittarius, you're Ophiuchus, right? We can't just deny that that is happening. But there was an image that I saw about the, I'm going to get this wrong, the ecliptical belt, not the elliptical belt, the ecliptical belt, which is the zodiac band, right? And where the signs sit on the line that goes around us, essentially. Ophiuchus sits just outside of that band. And yes, there's a crossover. Part of it does shoehorn itself through Sagittarius and Scorpius, but the bulk of it is outside of the band. Now, the snake bearer is the healer. It is, wisdom. It is knowledge. I would say that it makes perfect sense to me that we have the traditional zodiac, those 12 signs, and one that sits outside observing and watching. I think that the observer can then bring objectivity to the subjective experience that each zodiac is in by remaining outside and observing. You know, the snake has always been a symbol of being outside the Garden of Eden. You know, taking a bite of the apple and leaving heaven. So it sits outside of the sphere that we are in, but it also brings wisdom and knowledge and truth. So I think that, and interestingly, Sagittarius and Scorpio. Scorpio is a medicine energy, right? It goes in, and yes, with poison there is medicine. Sometimes, well, yeah, I mean that's also another thing to say, but I think that sometimes within the poison is the medicine. And Sagittarius is gets straight to the point. It's the archer, you know. And it's also it likes truth too. And it's shadowed by Ophiuchus standing behind. That's bringing perspective. That could maybe have a sharp eye and heal quickly. So that ghost constellation actually holds the zodiac. It's holding the snake. It's the snake bearer. It holds the zodiac in place with a space of objectivity. In order for it to exist, we need something that stands outside to see it and perceive it. So that's how I relate to Ophiuchus. I think in terms of the way that I'm going to work, you know, if you have a Scorpio placement, if you have a Sagittarius placement, you have Ophiuchus standing behind you in that wherever that placement is. So that's how I connect to it. That's how I relate to it. That's how I'm going to be working with it. But yeah, I think that it's outside of the zodiac belt. You know, the NASA tried to change the boundaries of Scorpio and Sagittarius, which then I think opened the gap for Ophiuchus, but it's in, but it's not. It's outside. It's behind. So there's that. I will do another video about, you know, degrees, those sorts of things, because yeah, it's fascinating, it's interesting. Yeah, and I think that is it. If you want to give for these videos, you can. I've got to go and do a live tarot on Facebook. So yeah, PayPal at Kyle Treslow if you want to give for these videos. My third episode is up for the podcast. That is Tower Talks on Spotify. It's all about projection, so you can see that. And if you want me for anything, you can get me. It is Tarot Tuesday, so I'm focusing on tarot. You can see my tarot offerings at kyletreslove.com, but also look at me on Instagram and Facebook. That is it. I'm going to go make a TikTok. Remember, all is good, all is God, all is love. Until we connect again soon in a bit.